And we are back. And if you're joining us right now, we're just getting our first conversation started. Our first guest for this morning, of course, is the new Special Envoy for the Development of Families and Children, Mrs. Rosanna Briceño. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be up so early with you guys.
Oh yeah, well, it's definitely nice to have you here. Of course, we want to say congratulations first of all, and look forward to some of the work that you're going to be able to do as the new Special Envoy. But before we get into all of that, why don't we start by telling our viewers just a little bit about you, where you're from, what you do, and whatever you'd like to share about a little bit about who you are.
Well, I guess by now everybody knows my face at least. I was born in Orange Walk. All my life, I have a family of 4 children, all grown up. I am presently the principal of St. Peter's Anglican School, and my interest has always been special education. As an educator, I feel that there is so much that can be done. We have made great steps and strides in Belize, but we have a way to go. I love to cook besides teaching and being a principal. My passion is cooking. I feel it de-stresses me. And as a mestizo girl growing up, I had to learn to do the tortillas and the fried jacks and all of that.
So that means next time you'll bring breakfast.
I can buy Orange Walk tacos.
See? Yeah,
so, but let me dive deeper. One of the things I really was interested in finding out is people are really now becoming acquainted with the work that you have been doing. You've always been an advocate for special needs children, and St. Peter's has had just an exemplary model in having special needs children included within their system, and you have been instrumental in that. So what about your encounter in the teaching profession made you realize that this was something that required special focus and that you followed through in getting it done?
Well, actually, my first teaching experience was at Stella Maris. I was only 18 years old. I was a volunteer. I was waiting to go away. I got a scholarship, a sponsor, and it didn't work out. I had to wait for another year and all of that. So within that time, my mother said, if you don't get a job or do something, one of us has to go. Yeah. And this is my house, so I guess it's you. Yeah. So I started to volunteer at Stella Maris School, and my experience there was eye-opening. It was harsh at the beginning with no experience. And of course, my first class was a set of 10 children with diverse abilities, including deaf students. And I realized this is crazy. Yeah. Nobody can deal with a class of 10 children on their own with diverse abilities. So I realized I needed to put my efforts, my energies into and it became my passion. So after that, I felt like at that time it was Sister Elsa. She definitely helped open doors for me. Being young, fresh out of high school, I was able to sit all the exams at that time and did well. I taught for 2 years at Stella Maris, and then I went on to Teachers College. That was when they had the 2+1 program in place. And then I came back to Stella Maris and did my internship. I was one of the very few people that had actually done their internships in special education in a special ed school or institution. Yeah. And then from then I knew it was something that I had to do. There was no turning back for me at that time.
Yeah. You know, it's fascinating. You talk about that situation at Stella Maris, and I know it's still very similar, where the classrooms are filled with people who have different special needs. And I always hear from the teachers, and I applaud them. They do such great work in working with these children. When you developed your model at St. Peter's, how did you cater to especially that? Each child, as the definition says, has a special need. How do you have a group of them together and still be able to ensure that they're meeting their educational goals?
Well, after my years of experience at Stella Maris and studying and going abroad, getting an education, bringing back my knowledge, I realized that we really needed to start screening our students, assessing our students, and grouping them by their abilities, not just putting them in one class in a self-contained classroom, because that's what it's called. Once a child is placed in a self-contained classroom, there's basically no turning back for them. They stay in there. Yeah. And then the whole concept of inclusion and I guess it began with mainstreaming. Yeah. It was new to us, and we were, in our minds, it was like, how can we mainstream these children in the regular classrooms? But of course, with education and awareness, sensitization and all of that, we came to the point of trying to get our children up to grade level with the rest of their classmates, and putting them back in the classrooms that they can be serviced, they can get the education that they need, of course, with a lot of support. So my thing has always been responsible inclusion. It's not just throwing children into a classroom and, okay, you're ready to go. No, it's, okay, we feel that you can make it in at this grade level, but you will need a lot of support. Yeah. This is where resource teachers come in. This is where the teachers have to start thinking and planning differently to be able to meet the needs of each of their children in their classrooms. This is what we call differentiated teaching, differentiated learning. It's a whole technical part of teaching and education when it comes to special education.
And I would imagine that as well, that catering to the needs of special needs students also involves a lot of perhaps work along with the families of the children in general, and receiving feedback. Yeah. And I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about what that has been like over the years, and listening to the concerns of parents and families and things like that.
Well, parents are our best guide. Mm-hmm. Parents know from the beginning that something isn't right. Mm-hmm. Because as parents, we like to compare our children with other children. Oh, Gavin is smarter than Danielle, or yeah. Gavin walked before Danielle, yeah. So parents are our best indicators, although they can be very short. And when I mean short, they don't want to just say everything.
Mm-hmm.
They keep things in. A lot of them are in denial until they realize, something is not right here. Yeah. Because my son is still not talking. He's 5, he's 6. And you know what, when we look at the whole developmental growth of children, some children just take forever to speak because they have no need to, until you find out that there is something really going on. But I think by now, at least for our center, and I can speak about maybe in our country, parents have become the biggest advocates for their children. They know that we need their support. Yeah. They need our support. So I think we have come a long way with parents. They obviously, like, as every parent, they want the best for their children. Yeah. And they want their children in school. And we have gotten to the point, at least that in our environment, my work environment, that parents are demanding services for their children. Yeah. And the little or the lot that we have to offer is better than nothing at all.
Yeah. Do you still hear or see of a lot of stigma around disability?
Oh yes, definitely. It's a big deal. Even as adults, I know that we have many NGOs in Belize that are still struggling and fighting for the rights of persons with disabilities. Because of the stigma, they have no access to education, they have no access to employment. As soon as they see someone in a wheelchair or they're deaf, like, okay, I don't think that person is qualified, not giving that person a chance. So it's still there. The stigma will never go. I think it has gotten worse. I know for a fact that at St. Peter's, our school was stigmatized. In Orange Walk, everybody felt that all the children that couldn't learn, at that time they used to use the word dumb children, go to St. Peter's, and many parents did not want to send their children to our school because they felt, oh, no, you don't belong in that school. All the children there have special needs. Now that I guess we have proven ourselves that we offer more than special needs services, we're getting a lot of transfers into our schools from the other schools, because the parents feel that maybe they're not getting enough assistance from the teachers in the other schools, and they feel that our school can perform miracles. But I think we have a lot of miracle workers in our school.
There are a lot of passionate special need teachers out there.
You're going beyond the call of duty. So I must say I have an amazing staff, a great staff that has learned to work as a team. It took us a while, but I think we're almost there. And I feel that with a lot of training that we have done, I have put in place, I think that if there's more that we can learn, yes, there is. We still have a long way to go. But I think the whole perception that the school had in the past has slowly but surely changed.
It's wonderful to hear about the passion that you have in working with the children. And so I guess it begs the next question. Making the choice to take on the special envoy role means that you will have to divert some time and energy from what is your passion. Tell us about the decision making there. Was it something that you naturally wanted to do, or you gave it some thought, and what were the pros there?
I had no choice, really. It's not something that I was looking forward to, because I felt that it would take me away from my passion, my school, my work, everything that we have done together at St. Peter's. But, the reality is it does come hand in hand with what I'm doing. And I know a lot of people said, oh, but they have a lot more people out there that are more qualified than her for this job. But in reality, it's not a job. It wasn't an option. It's something that is put in place for the spouses of the prime ministers. In many countries, first ladies take on different roles. In our country, the spouse of the prime minister has the privilege of working as the special envoy under the prime minister's office. So it's not a job that people apply to or can apply to. And yes, it comes with no pay. So my real job will make me, will do the financial part for me. But it's not, it has never been about the money, because if it were for money, I guess I'd be poor as serious. All the work that teachers do, I am a strong advocate that we are underpaid, especially those teachers that go beyond the call of duty. And when this came up, yes, I took my time. I did not want to jump into something new, something that I was unfamiliar with. But then again, I listened. I got a team together of advisors, strong people that I trust, people that have been out there and are exposed, have worked in this area, I guess, in the past. So I took my time and had a lot of planning. I know I stressed out a lot of people saying, but no, I have to make it work this way. And no, I don't want it to be that way. I need a plan. I want to to work. I want to be able that when I get in there and I leave at whatever time, it's not about it's about work. It's about what was done, and there's something to show that changes were made. Policies were put in place, mandates were put in place to better the lives of the children and families that comes under the office of the Special Envoy.
And when you look at the state of the country and what you know from your experience with issues that families or children may be facing, what's perhaps the one thing that you thought, I really hope I can make a difference in this area?
There's a lot of things that I want to. It's a little bit hard, but of course my passion has always been special education. I think we have come a long way. Belize has been a part of the Convention of the Rights of Children and with persons with special needs from the 90s, from early years, and we have ratified, Belize has ratified, has recommitted to these conventions, but they're really not being put in place. They're not being observed. And because I feel it's not mandatory, there is no real law that says you have to do this and you have to do that. So I guess that would be one of the areas that I want to make sure that there is true accessibility to education, true accessibilities to employment, and especially for persons with disabilities. We start with children. Children have a right to an education, and they should be able to choose where they could get that education in a regular school. It does not have to be in a center where they're stuck probably in a self-contained classroom and they never leave. The rights of children, the voices need to be heard. And I think that is where I want to be a very strong advocate for these voices, that these voices are heard, that parents know, you know what, I don't have to send my child at St. Peter's. I don't have to send my child at Salamar's. If I want, I could demand, I don't know if that's strong of a word, but if I want my child to go to any other school in Belize City, for example, let's just say from the top of my head, St. Joseph or BHS or BES or whatever.
Yeah.
My child should be able to get into that school, and services should be provided for my child, whether he has a special needs or not.
Interesting.
And then another area that I feel is super important, especially right now during COVID, these times of COVID, where violence against women and has escalated to a point that it's like an everyday thing. This has to be addressed. Our women need to be protected, because once the woman is protected, the family is safe. And it's all inclusive of the family. It's not just the mom or the woman in the house, it's the family. So I think that's the reason we decided, because it wasn't a decision that I made on my own, that it has to be inclusive of families. The family is the foundation of a home. So I think my two areas for the beginning that I want to start with would be those two focus areas.
You know, as you clearly noted, the Special Envoy is a role that you now assume as the wife of the Prime Minister. And you've been clear to say that you're not, collecting a salary, you're not putting together or expending resources on the work that you do. But that comes with its challenges, because when anything happens pertaining to children and anything happens pertaining to the degradation of a family or families, they'll look to you and say, well, where's Miss Briceño in all of this? Are you prepared? I mean, what's your plan in being able to respond to the different things that may come up over time?
Well, it's already started. People think that I'm hiring and I have a lot of jobs to offer and I'm getting resumes all over the place being sent to me. No, I'm not hiring. I'm not even getting paid, as a matter of fact, so I can't pay you. But I also have gotten a lot of volunteers that are willing to work along with the office, and they come with their strengths and their passions too. So I have, I think I can definitely work with volunteers. And yes, the office does cater to an assistant. It's not a big salary, but it's something that can help that my assistant live or survive. But when I see and I hear of all the issues that I am expected to solve and to make a difference, yes, I think my voice is very loud and it has always been very clear. But I think working hand in hand with the different ministries like human development and education and health, this is where I can be an advocate for these women, these families, these men that need support, that need to be guided to the institutions, to the ministries that can help them. Yeah. That's why they're there. So it's going to be a teamwork effort. Yeah. I am going to be working very closely with Minister Balderramos. She is super ready and willing to assist, and that is also one of her passions. So I know that with partnerships, teamwork, creating merges and just working together, I think we can be able to make a big difference and actually help people, help them by trying to find ways of them getting a job, or once they send in their resumes, we can, if they know of something that's open, that's available, then we can use our voices to guide them as best as possible.
And of course, you are still going to be staying on at St. Peter's, and of course, you have your own family as well. So what are your plans to balance time and all the needs that your personal needs, of course, that have to be met as well? How are you thinking about taking all of this on going forward?
Well, I'm not thinking about it. I already jumped in.
Yep.
That's what we do.
I have been doing this for the past umpteenth years. My husband used to always tell me, you need for work. Yeah. Crazy if I stay home and I can't cook every day. I get tired. Even though I love cooking, but I take cooking as my therapy, and my children know that when I am upset, I start cooking and I can't stop. Yeah. So my children say, something's wrong with mom today. She's cooking up a storm. I think I have become my mother too, because I used to always say, no, if I cook one thing, everybody eats it. Yeah. And no, but then he doesn't like this or she doesn't like that. So then I start adding to. It's like a stress relief too. Yeah. And when it comes to my home, my boys have been super supportive. And because my house is full of men, they all know that they have to take turns to wash the dishes and help mom. Because I have a lot of work to do, and we used to have where I used to do homework with one of them, and I said, okay, if you want me to do homework with you, then the other one has to clear up the table and wash the dishes. Yeah. Or else we won't start homework until 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. And then they're falling asleep. So I'm like, okay, in this house, hand wash hand. Everybody have to help, including dad.
and that's,
but go ahead.
No, I was going to say, when I hear you say things like that, it kind of helps me to understand why you were very insistent in seeing the role of the special envoy be inclusive of the entire family. But you mentioned earlier the issue of domestic violence, of gender-based violence, which people call domestic violence. And it's one of the areas I know that perhaps you will be looked at very often for what you will be doing and how you plan to change that. And we all know what happens within private households and private relationships. It's very difficult to intervene, and there are many agencies that have been working. What do you want to be able to do when it comes specifically to the area of gender-based violence, whether it's children being abused in home or spouses, spouse abuse?
The reality is that it's happening. It's happening every day. And with quarantine in place and COVID time, like I mentioned earlier, it has escalated to an extreme. Even with our children at school, even before COVID, as a principal, I had to work very closely with the teachers reporting abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, and even sexual abuse. And I have been working very closely with the social department as best as I can. And I feel that the only way that I can really make a difference, not only when it comes to children, but also the women, it's a serious campaign when it comes to sensitization. People, especially our women, they have many valid reasons why they stay in homes, in abusive situations. Some of them have no choices and they just have to stay. There's nobody there to support them. I think that if with the Ministry of Social Development working with the Minister Dolores Balderramos, I feel that we can strengthen the areas that really need help. For example, we need to start thinking about safe homes for women, that they can have somewhere to go if they report their husbands and the husband is arrested and he comes back. He's going, where do you think he was going? He's going to go right back to that house, take revenge, beat up the woman again. So it's going to be like a vicious cycle. And that has to end. Women need to feel that they are safe if they make a report. And I think that's the reason why they don't make reports, because they're not safe. Sometimes they're not taken seriously. Sometimes they go and make a report and they're abused, verbally abused by the same officers. Even in the hospitals when they're having their babies, the same midwives are telling them, oh, but you know, they're rude and they're abusive. So I guess women don't feel safe, and a lot of sensitization, a lot of campaigns need to be put in place. But it's not just advocacy. It's not just talking and talking, because I feel that in Belize we talk a lot. A lot of advocacy has been done and is in place. Our voices are loud and clear. Social media has taken over Belize like a storm, like a blanket. It just covers everything. They just jump on everything. And some people offer very good suggestions, but some people are way just to criticize, and they see no positive in no matter what somebody does. So we have to look beyond those. But I think strengthening our governmental agencies, putting things that are in place for our women and our children, strengthening the social departments. I think a lot of the social workers need to go back and get some major training. But that's another story. And I think that's where we need to go. We need to retrain some people. Some people are there just because it's a job and maybe they shouldn't be there. But that's not my, I'm not here to fire or hire anybody, right? I can suggest. So, but I think with proper training and working hand in hand with all the NGOs that are in place, I think we can make a big difference for our women and our children in our country.
And you know, a big part of it is being able to get resources into these areas. And I don't know if you have a budget or what your plan is to be able to assist in that area. Because if you talk, I know you mentioned social workers, but I mean, they're taking on maybe double, similar to teachers, double or triple the caseloads than they should. And it happens in many different areas where people are working directly in the social sector. So have you looked at ideas as to how you can get more resources to strengthen some of these institutions and even create additional resources like safe houses and the additional services you spoke of?
Yes, I have been looking at possibilities, not by myself, with a team of advisors and with the persons that are of interest that I need to be working with. Um, there are many NGOs out there that are willing to donate to provide funds to Belize. What Belize needs is a strategic plan. They need to see that their monies will go where the needs are. Accountability is of utmost importance here. People will not give you money and then you don't know, you can't tell them what you did with their monies. So if we are going to be reaching out to international
Donors.
Donors, sorry,
Yeah.
it's early. I haven't even had coffee. Sorry. We need to have a plan, a strong plan, a strategic plan that says, I want to partner with your organization, or can your organization work with us? This is my plan. This is the plan that I have for Belize. This is what Belize wants to put in place. Maybe I believe that they're seeing something that's solid, that's structured, that is feasible, they would be more willing to assist us. It's all a matter of advocacy, lobbying for funding, because the reality is that everybody is going to these same sponsors. In Belize, when there's a fundraising, everybody goes to the same business people over and over. So we're depleting the little bit of funds that we have. Like I said in my launch, I think that if some of the NGOs are willing to ally with the governmental agencies, and we can strengthen these areas where we can pool the resources, we can strengthen our personnels or the people that are needed to do the work. I think we can, it's going to be a better way to work together than trying to fund every different NGO or just the governmental agencies. When we have strong NGOs out there that are willing to work with the governmental agencies to provide the services, to provide the needs that our women, our children, our families need. So I believe it's all about creating allies, merging, pooling our resources to make it go a longer way. Yes, we need to advocate. Yes, we need to fundraise. And I am positive that we have a lot of international sponsors out there, but they need to see that you are serious. They need to see a strategic plan.
Yeah. All right. So it's been really interesting hearing your thoughts on what you hope to be able to accomplish as the new special envoy for the development of families and children. So the work has started already?
Yes, it has.
All right. So we'll look forward to future conversations. And since you love the kitchen, we'll have to sample some of your cooking.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't invite me to do a cooking segment.
All right. Well, now you gave us the idea. All right. But thank you very much for joining us this morning. We wanted an opportunity to hear from you and to do the first introductory interview to hear what your plans are. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
All right. And with that, we are going to take a break.
Yep, and when we come back, we are going to be speaking with a representative from Belize Bank and talking all about the launch of their new eCash. So we'll be right back after the short break, so please stay tuned.